Indianapolis. It was 15 years ago when a 6'4" tight end from Arkansas showed up at the NFL Combine and fully transitioned to a new position. After a college career spent at tight end, this 300-plus pounder made the move to offensive tackle. Apparently he didn't show enough at the Combine, because he went undrafted. Now it's 2019, and that player is considered one of the best offensive tackles in NFL history. That's Eagles left tackle Jason Peters. The future Hall of Famer didn't even make the Bills roster initially, getting cut and placed on the practice squad as a rookie. Now, Peters is a 9-time Pro Bowler at the tail end of his career, if it's not already over. The 37-year-old is considering retirement, and even if he returns, the Eagles need to figure out a plan for how to replace him beyond 2019. One of the most intriguing options to replace Peters was at the Indiana Convention Center on Thursday. A small school prospect with a similar positional background, Alabama State tackle Titus Howard. When Howard first showed up at Monroe County High School in Alabama as a freshman, he was 5'8" and weighed 150 pounds. He started out as a quarterback and stayed there as he grew to 6'2", 225 pounds. Eventually, he moved to tight end. In that time, Howard's thin frame garnered him the nickname Weenie. By the time he enrolled at Alabama State, he shot up to 6'5" and eventually bulked up to over 300 pounds. When I got to college and got bigger, everybody said, "Man, we can't call you that anymore," Howard said. Like Peters, Howard is lauded for his athleticism at tackle, though he won't have to deal with going undrafted like the Eagles legend, as Howard is projected as a day 2, round 2 to 3 pick. The Eagles own 2 second-round picks. Of note, Eagles right tackle Lane Johnson also played quarterback in high school and is also considered an elite athlete at his position. Perhaps Howard has that level of athletic potential. Athleticism helps, but at the end of the day it's really your will, Howard said. Being an offensive lineman is a totally different breed than being a quarterback, tight end, running back. You gotta have a whole different mindset every single play. You've got to adapt to being an offensive lineman. Being offensive lineman, you don't be in the spotlight like the quarterback do, and you've got to accept that. Me doing that, being an offensive lineman, I had to learn to do that. Being a lineman, you've gotta love it. You can't like it, you've gotta love it. Phillies sign Bryce Harper. Where does he stack up with biggest Eagles, Sixers, Phillies free agent signings of last 20 years? The Phillies signed star outfielder Bryce Harper as a free agent. He's one of the biggest signings in Philadelphia history. Over the last 20 years, that's a list that also includes Jim Thome, Nnamdi Asomugha, DeMarco Murray and Elton Brand. Howard was a standout in Senior Bowl week earlier this offseason and put up 21 bench press reps of 225 pounds on Thursday. During Howard's transition from quarterback to tight end to offensive tackle, he often looked to Peters for inspiration. Watching Peters' film and trying to learn about the way he played, I watched him a lot, Howard said. Now, perhaps he will replace him. Here's Howard's scouting report via NFL.com. Daniel Jeremiah. Howard has ideal height and length for the position. He played both left and right tackle in the games I studied. In pass protection, he explodes out of his stance and effortlessly covers up speed rushers at the edge. He keeps his hands in tight and spears opponents with relative ease. He has an immediate anchor versus bull rushers. When his hands get knocked away, he is quick to replace them. In the run game, he has the foot quicks and balance to cut off on the backside, and he always stays attached. Doesn't have a lot of knockoff power, but he's effective. Overall, the only real question about Howard involves the level of competition. The Senior Bowl should greatly impact his evaluation. Zach Rosenblatt may be reached at zrosenblatt@newadvancemedia.com. Follow him on Twitter at ZachBlatt. Find NJ.com on Facebook.